Welcome back, everybody, to Grand Tactician, Civil War, and Grandpa Gaming. This is episode 20 of our Rebel Summer 61 campaign, using the a.o.m mod. So, as of last episode, we did leave off entering into a battle, the 11th Battle of Manassas Junction. And like I said in the last episode, I think this is more, these battles are happening more because the Federals are not retreated north of the Potomac River, so every time they go to move, they're kind of clipping up against our army of Virginia, so that's what's causing these fights. And amazingly, this time we're actually not on the defense. We're on the offense for this battle, even though we weren't the aggressive force in this one. So a little bit of a change up. So the Federals hold all the entry points from Centerville up over to here at Carthagena. And they have 3 corps on the field with 2 Army headquarters. You have both the Army of the James and Army of the Potomac headquarters, with 1 corps from the Army of the James and 2 corps from the Army of the Potomac. Buell's in charge of the Army of the James, and Smith is in charge of the Army of the Potomac. And it looks like Buell is in overall command. Alright, they are defending up here at Oak Forest. Right now it's showing a minor victory in our favor, with 30 Federal morale 34.9 to our 54.7. Their morale is going to rise up before we're in position to attack them. So my plan for right now is actually march on Centerville, because this is the easiest road passage for us instead of coming up through this hodgepodge up here. So we're going to march on Centerville, come down Braddock Road, and then push west along the unfinished railroad from there. Hopefully getting my battery set up along this ridge line here to some effect. So you got a lot of batteries, might as well use them, but there is a lot of force we do have to attack through. So it's 4 a.m. of day 1. It's going to take us a while to get up there, but we will eventually get up there. This should be a one-day fight, I'm hoping, but we'll see. Alright, it's now 6:16 in the morning, and I have run into Federal forces over here at Centerville, which was not something I was expecting. I'm trying to recall my cavalry out of danger. So they were just about to ride right past all these Federal forces, which would have not been a good thing. Alright, Chew, you're getting set up. We're on counter battery right now. My infantry is still a ways back down the road, actually. When Johnson's division is just arriving. Okay. That's good news. Now, who are we looking at here? 1st Corps Army of the James. It looks like they might all just be slammed into this corner here in town, cut off by the stream. So we might be able to just knock this corps out pretty early. Their morale has gone up to 48. Get these charge icons turned off. Something I should have checked before doing anything else. Start bringing Johnson's division up. Corps commander is still a bit of a distance away. He is on his way, but he's still a ways off. I still haven't got my artillery moving yet. I'm waiting for the last infantry division to pass them by. So we know 1 corps is here, but there's 2 more on the field, so one of them is definitely on the objective. Don't know where the 3rd one is. This all Army of the James. So far it is. So, yeah, we're going to focus on this 1 corps, and then figure it out from there. But right now, everybody get dismounted in loose order. don't think Chu's battery's going to have too much effect. They've only got the 3 guns. I set them to counter battery, but Lord knows what they're going to fire at. So I think we can have the cavalry initiate this while we wait for the infantry to come forward. So these guys really haven't had too much chance at fighting in any of these battles. Actually, there might be a roadblock issue. I should probably start ordering up the Washington artillery because they're the smallest battery. Pennsylvania, 6 Pennsylvania. So I guess this is the Pennsylvania Reserve Cavalry. Pennsylvania Cavalry Brigade. Good morale. Units are a lot smaller than ours. They are all regiments. I mean, these started as regiments, but they've slowly increased in size. So I'm wondering, every time I think my phone's on silent, if we can quickly chew through this federal cavalry here and get into this artillery park. Infantry's on the move. Going to be waiting a while for their orders. So the Corps commander moving up the road already. And are they rushing their batteries forward? Interesting. Let's try and shove as many rifles as we can into that. They're just massing up in there. I'm going to try and get as many rifles as I can. Yeah, if we break them right here, they're going to run right off the map. That's going to seriously affect. They already have one company. Oh. Chambliss has been killed. Shit. Right off the bat. not doing too well, but they're taking the majority of the fire right now. Hampton, come over here. They're going to advance in right here. Where's their battery? Still down the road. I know these guys have orders to advance into them. Let's get in there and give a hand. Alright, starting to break them. Get the hell in there, 11th. Okay, Rhodes, I could have sworn I'd given you orders to get up over here. Boy, start moving to the double. I have no idea what you're doing. Ruggle, start bringing your men up. Doing some very heavy damage to them. This poor Pennsylvania cavalry, they keep getting their asses handed to them at every battle. I feel bad for them. It's just dumb luck that we ran into them. There's a second Virginia. No fault of their own. I pushed them in to start locking down these Federals. Now all those guns are open up to me. Nice. Ignore those damn skirmishers. Doesn't look like the Federals are sending any aid to the Army of the James. Oh, push forward, damn it. 11th fall back. Looks like there is aid on the way. Where the hell did these guys come from? There we go, destroy those batteries. So there is aid on the way. We just gotta figure out where they're coming from. Another unit has withdrawn from the field. Facing. I don't think anything else is going to come down this way, but we're going to have the what's left of the cavalry guard that road for us. Why are you turning? Looks like Armored James is fleeing, or their one corps is fleeing. And whoever was coming to reinforce them is moving away. Jones, come set up over here. Hampton, set up here. You guys finish clearing through town. Let's bring their battery up. Get through town, guys. Let's go. The Federals just might be withdrawing. We did take a lot of casualty there right towards the end. Got this glitched out cavalry regiment right in front of us. Now, whoever's shooting at it, taking down the brigade commander's headquarters, so boys halt. I don't need you marching into them. Alright, looks like we're going to be in a bit of a lull here. I'm going to wait and see, because the Federals might be withdrawing. I'm going to see if they do that. Alright, it did take a few minutes longer, but the Federals did finally retreat off the field. They had so many forces on the field, it just took forever for them to get all off the map. So we took down 1,100 of their 30,000 infantry, 900 or 5,500 cavalry, 35 of their 60 guns. Total was at 2,300 of their 37,000 men. We lost 450 of our 26,662 infantry, 657 of our 2,793 cavalry, and 0 of our guns. Total loss of 1,107 of our 31,104 men. We did have that casualty jump up right there at the end, but it always happens when you kind of get the infantry involved, you know, with the massed ranks. Save this real fast and take a look at the paperwork. We lost 1 officer killed in action. Yeah, I'm not going to go back through that list. And that was... where's the cavalry? Chambliss was killed in action. But it looks like we wounded Buell, sadly. He's been another good ally to us. And wounded the commander of the Pennsylvania Cavalry Brigade, Hayes. Wounded Major Layden. Wounded Major Patrick. And wounded 4 of their officers. The rest of these forces did not get involved in the combat. Alright, we lost 1... Losing Chambliss kind of hurts. He's a good officer. But it is what it is. 1 killed, 4 there's wounded, and I'm kind of wishing we hadn't wounded Buell. I really wish we hadn't. He's been, like I said, he's been a big ally to us. We close out here, and I'll see you all at the newspaper screen. A victory at the 11th Battle of Manassas Junction. Looks like General Jones became famous at that fight, and they actually finally blamed the general for the loss. General Orderly's face. Don't know who he was in command of, though. Alright, the enemy's reported suffered total casualties of 2,263 men. There are 305 killed and 1,253 captured. Our casualties total 1,107 men, with 298 killed, 131 missing, and the rest are wounded. Captured 996 rifles and 9 guns from the field, and sent 1,329 soldiers off to our prison camps. Alright. So I'm not going to be adding anything to the historical record this episode, as I'm shooting this one right behind the last episode. So I didn't have time to allow people to get in their diary entries or anything like that. So if you don't see it in this episode, it's not that I forgot to do them. It's just I'm trying to get this done before I leave on my camping trip, so that I have something for the Monday release. Like I said, I think these battles keep happening because these units are not retreating towards Washington like they usually do. They've just been sitting here after every battle. So every time I think one of them moves, it clips our combat zone, because Army Potomac headquarters is sitting right in our combat radius. And I'm not moving my troops off of Manassas Junction because I don't want to lose control of my depot here. It doesn't have a lot in it, but what it has is important. Speaking of which, we've gained control of Harper's Ferry Armory, so let's dump that out. Because there was a Union force here controlling it, so a lot of that stuff comes from them. So let's empty that out and get it into our depots. Alright, so last episode. Kind of busy episode. So we had 3 battles. One of which I expected, 2 of which I did not. So we had the 10th Battle of Manassas Junction. We also had the Battle of Springfield, Illinois, because there was a federal corps here I was not expecting. But we're now taking control of that with the Army of Western Tennessee. And we had the 2nd Battle of Bloomington, which I was hoping to force these federal armies of Southwest Missouri out of the state. But they've once again retreated inland. I was expecting them to retreat towards Quincy, but they're now heading back in this direction, so I'm going to have to continue chasing them down, which I really don't want to. And I'm now of the mind of disbanding the Army of Missouri, because it's down to 6,300 men. It's not really an effective force anymore. So I'm thinking about transferring the mounted rifle units. And I think they're all from Texas and Missouri too, so that works out. Arkansas, Texas, Arkansas. So I got 1 Texas brigade mixed in with these Arkansans here. Thinking about transferring them up to Pike's command in the Indian Army and disbanding the infantry regiments. Because they're not very strong. But I also don't want to leave this state empty at the same time. Because right now all we have here is the siege train, which is what the Federals are retreating towards. So we don't have good readiness because they just made a very long march to get to St. Joseph where I could refit them before moving them on Fort Kearny. But the Indian Army is making headway. They are now just outside of Davenport in Iowa. So I think that'll be a big grab for us. So it takes them a long time because they're such a small force. Once again, they only have 8,000 men. They take a long time to flip over any type of city. And I'm surprised there's no federal forces trying to intercept them right now. But I think that's going to change once we're in Davenport and I start moving them north. When I'm skip past St. Paul because of the fortification there, they're not going to be able to take care of that. Because this is a pre-war fortification that's a level 3 fort. It's a big fortification. So once we have Davenport, I'm probably going to end up sending them up to Dubuque and then out towards Milwaukee and see if the Federals chase them. And I want to get the Harem back on the road again. I'm thinking after Springfield is seized, we'll have the Army of Western Tennessee move on Quincy. Seize that real fast because the readiness of the Harem is not high enough to travel yet. Also at the same time, Lee's Army of Mississippi readiness is still friggin' tanked out. I just can't. I expected so much more out of Lee. His core has been an issue since the start of the spring offensive. It's now June, and they're still stuck here at Cairo. That's really pissing me off. This entire offensive is being stalled by him right now. It looks quiet all along the rest of the fronts, unless it looks like they might be coming back to Cumberland, but we knew they were building this depot already. So I don't know if they're going to make another Cumberland Gap or not. We do have a small numbers advantage. So I think maybe once they finish building this depot and we let them build up a little bit, we might just go try to take that from them. And how's this fort looking? Another 37 days on the fort. The Engineer's Mechanics perk is not leveling up as fast as it used to. I think that got debuffed a little bit. And one more thing, how is my fleet doing? I know they're still repairing. Why is the Wilmington Squadron up here? What the hell are you guys doing here? Oh, okay. You know what? I think I did send them to reinforce. I took out their seafaring ships and put them in the river to try and help over here. So actually, yeah, let's order you guys up river. So Vicksburg Squadron, 72 and 64. I don't want to put them back into war yet. And the two other ironclads are still only at 30%. So that's another hampering right now. So let's send you guys up. I don't expect much out of them. I just expect them to do some damage to the Missouri River Squadron, try and force them away. I'm just trying to open up the river passage. I do want to get these ships back down into the Gulf and working against the Federal ships out there. I think that covers everything for right now. A bit of a ramble, so I'll be back. And we have joined the French in Mexico. The Confederacy joins the French in Mexico. Texas to send troops to Mexico. Emperor Napoleon III thanks Davis. The French willing to arm the South. Citizens in the Union appalled. Good. The French Expeditionary Force in Mexico has been fighting the Mexican Republicans. There's been little support from other European nations since the force landed and pushed inland. As the British and Spanish withdrew, there were only some Austrians and Belgians left in Mexico to support the French. The Confederate States of America has declared support for Emperor Napoleon III. Support comes in the form of supplies and regiments from Texas. Troops placed under the overall command of the French. This has reduced the number of recruits available from Texas to fight the Union armies. It's clear that Napoleon III wants to make Mexico a puppet state and to open new trade routes to the Confederacy. With Confederate support, the French intervention force will be able to engage the Mexican Republicans on multiple fronts simultaneously, reducing their ability to resist the onslaught. That's another first for this channel, is actually getting to the getting the British and Mexican interventions. Now let's see how long it takes for the French to finally intervene on our behalf. Alright, so now we're going to immediately go over to government funding 1, because this is desperately, it's going to take 107 days. Because we do have low state support due to the amount of Union territory we control. But that's something we need to get done immediately. I really wanted to go to free trade, but I think that's kind of out of the question for now. We don't really need it anymore. We don't need the support that it gives us, so down the monetary line we go. Alright, it's now July 1st. We've managed to go the rest of the month without another combat, amazingly. We've made some moves out here in the west. Especially with the Indian Army. Pike has been moving for me. So we have seized Davenport, and we have seized Dubuque. So we've controlled both of the major cities in Iowa. The Army of Southwest Missouri did finally retreat out of the state, and they are up here either at Bloomfield or Des Moines. So as soon as Pike is ready to go again, which says about 91 days, because they're not getting much in the way of supply up here, I'm going to have them move back towards Des Moines and Bloomfield to try and look for the Army of Southwest Missouri and see if we can't get rid of them. Because we now control everything, not everything west of the Mississippi, because we still have to take St. Paul, but I'm not sending the Indian Army to deal with that fortification. So their next mission is to come down here. I did disband the Army of Missouri. I disbanded all the infantry regiments and sent the remainder of the cavalry up into the Indian Army. So you can see it's a very large force structure now, cavalry-wise. These are all still regimental-sized commands, so they're not very big. Like 3rd Texas is 281 men. I think I might just combine them down with somebody. Yeah, that's the smallest organizational force in these commands. Do have another battery transferring in. That was the 3rd battery that I'd raised up. Still waiting for them to arrive at the Indian Army. They're 5 days away, and I did recruit 2 more to bring them up to the full 5 batteries. And I created an artillery division for them under the command of General Rains. So, and I also did have Polk's Army of Western Tennessee come over and seize Quincy for me real fast, and then move back towards covering Springfield so we can bring my corps into Quincy to get their readiness up faster. I've also moved the Army of Mississippi out of Cairo and into St. Louis to get their readiness up faster because they get better supplies here. Because there's that flotilla sitting right here off of Cairo, which is blocking the supply. I did abandon Charleston with the Army of Kanawha. So I'm basically abandoning Western Virginia over to the Federals. Let's see if they actually seize it. And I have the Army of Kanawha now in transit, and they're actually moving pretty damn fast. So I do have this nice interior railroad here to cover down on Cairo, which the Army of Mississippi left. Moves going forward. Like I said, Indian Army is going to come down here, try to find and engage the Army of Missouri again. Traveling Harem, once it's ready to go, is going to engage 3rd Corps Army to Cumberland if it's still in the area, and then move against Peoria. I'm going to leave Army of Western Tennessee where it is for now, and as soon as the Army of the Mississippi is ready to go again, I'm going to have them change position to over here, across the river from Terre Haute. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. If I mispronounced that, please somebody let me know in the comments, because I've never actually had to pronounce that before. I'm going to have them sit across the river from here in preparation for the next offensive, or I may have them move into Evansville and try to cut off Kentucky, which is an idea. And actually, that's probably the better idea. So I'm moving to Evansville and work in concert with the Army of Middle Tennessee and clearing out these federal forces in Kentucky. Yeah, I'm liking that idea better. But ultimately, I don't think we're going to make Chicago this season. That was wasn't really a driving point for the spring campaign, but it's very much within touching distance. So I do want to try and seize that and see if we can't grab Illinois before the summer comes to a close. And then we'll basically control everything west of the Mississippi. We will have cut off the Union. Alright, but like I said, it is now July 1st. Now that that map update's out of the way, let's go jump into the monthlies. Current rating of our nation is B+. We didn't actually increase our debt at all, which is amazing. We cut no bonds in the last month. That's the first month we have not cut a single bond. So that's a good sign. Current economy cycle is recovery, while the population is mediocre increasing. It says our tax revenues increased by $74 million, but I think that's what we took in because this never matches up what the finance screen says. We didn't construct any buildings in the last month. Total export was $472 million going out with $47 coming in, so that's staying pretty even on, which is good. Average core production over the last 3 months is $158 million, a change of plus $24 million. We're still lacking all the same stuff: flour, iron, artillery ammunition. We have it, we don't have it. It kind of fluctuates, and we're good on fish, salt, and wood. If you come over to the financial screen, we're still spending $665 million more than we are bringing in, but the reduction of the diplomacy funding from very high to very low should probably reduce that even more, because we just don't need. We want to keep at least $5 million a month going to that to, pay for our diplomats and stuff. So we don't need the diplomacy money anymore, so let's reduce that even more. Politics we need to keep up. Economy, we can keep it where it is because that's what kind of keeps our infrastructure running. Actually, just run that up to $5 million. Because this at maxed out is $100 million, so we're not spending that type of money anymore. So $5 million to economy. We already got agriculture very high, industry very high, military very high. So we're saving a lot of money right there by reducing the diplomacy, and that's what saved us that money. See, Federal's had a big spend in February, but not much since then. And this little drop right here for us, that's our big spend on the new railroad line. And I did recruit 2 more horse artillery batteries to, like I said, fill out the Indian Army's artillery division. Intelligence. They're still working on Emancipation Proclamation. That is not finished yet, and I think that has to do with us taking so much territory. They are losing support. When you lose support, it takes longer for the projects to get complete or policies to get complete. They've done a level of market reform. They haven't recruited anybody into any brigades, it says. I don't think that's true, but they did a large reorganization. Basically, all the separate Army and Corps have been consolidated into larger armies, so that probably does explain that. Morale of the Federal Army is currently at 68%. And it shows us having killed the 1 officer in combat, and that was Colonel Carr. And it says they're planning a naval invasion. Well, the one they did have running over here just outside of Richmond is gone. I think it was the Army of New England was sitting over here by West Point. They've completely disappeared off the map, so they've either disbanded that force or consolidated into another army. Alright, but coming over here to our military. Nope, wrong one. Strategy screen. National morale. Federals are down to 66 to our 97. National support's at 80 to our 76. Our support's dropping down because of all the federal territory we control. Morale armies, theirs is at 68 to our 81. Loyal states have not changed since Missouri's not seceded yet. Men fielded, they have 295,400 field to our 196,780. Naval tonnage, they still well outstrip us. I'm still waiting for those damn ironclads to get built. They are taking forever. Military experience, they're 24 to our 26. Battles won, they're at 16 to our 61. Remember, battles won also count naval engagements and fort sieges. So they did just win 2 naval engagements against me. The Wilmington Squadron did some damage to their fleet before it got seen off and disintegrated. And I didn't want it to happen. I didn't realize what was going on, but it drew in the my Mississippi River Squadron with the 2 ironclads into that fight, even though they were not ready for it. And they managed to do a little more damage before withdrawing, but that added to the battle's 1 count for the Federals. Total casualties so far, they're at 129,408 to our 46,835. So we are doing very, very well on the casualty count. This is probably the lowest numbers I've had in a camp this late into a campaign. European relations, they're at 0 to our 100. Trade warfare, 208 million to 902. And economy, ours is up to 118 to their 166. So our economy's starting to get a lot better. Alright, policies, as I stated before, we have finished off with the Mexican intervention, so we are now working on government funding, which is going to take 106 days. Should be further along than that. It said 107 when I clicked on it, but apparently seizing some of these cities out west have increased that time. Alright, projects, what do we have available to us? We got subsidized agriculture, farm mechanization, and plantation mechanization. I think we go with a level of farm mechanization. We could go with a level of plantation mechanization, increase our cotton production, but I think we should do a level of farm mechanization to give ourselves, because this will add some recruits to the pool. So we'll take that. So that adds number of volunteers is plus 2%. Not a big amount of volunteers, but should free up some more men as replacements. And we're not going to get the rifled, Parrot, armored gunboats, or recruit agents at all, because we don't need it. What I do need, and because I just noticed some of my units still have very low training, is we do need a level of training reform for my men are in camp. We also need supply reform, or something we should have done a long time ago. It really only affects the size of the depots we can build. And logistics reform is something that we definitely need, because that reduces the cost of our supplies. Weapons production is something I should have taken towards the start of the campaign, but I never did. I've been putting that money into railroads. There's really not much left that we really want to grab. I do want to raise my railroad construction up further, because we are building railroads. The one railroad, we're now constructing 2 railroads. One is almost complete. The Jackson and Selma is 88% complete, and we're now working on the Houston Shreveport. And that's 5% complete. We only started building that last month, and it's already at 5%, so that's going along pretty quickly. So I do want to raise that railroad subsidy money, and possibly get started on another railroad down here along the Gulf states, because they do bring in a lot of revenue. And I don't know if the campaign will go long enough for them to complete, but it's something we should start working on. I think that covers everything for right now. I've rambled on, I think, for 10-15 minutes, so I'll be back with the next incident. Alright, it's now July the 6th, and we have another battle at Manassas Junction with the 2nd Corps Army of the James under command of John Wool, bringing 15,214 infantry, 6,648 cavalry, and 110 guns, going up against our Army of the Potomac with 27,290 infantry, 2,325 cavalry, and 120 guns. When are they going to learn? They are not going to be able to break through here unless they bring overwhelming forces to bear. But, once again, let's go teach Wool the error of his ways. Welcome, my grunts, to the 12th Battle of Manassas Junction. Getting tired of fighting here. I don't know about the rest of you all. And once again, we are defending back. The objective point actually has 0 point value, but we're defending the road to the McLean farmhouse here. The Federals are coming in from up here at this corner, so they have multiple approach routes as usual, so I'm basically set up my same kind of defense formation here. We have a little bit of an extra deployment zone because of where the objective shifted from to here from over here where it usually is. So I have the Hampton Legion and Mountains Division set up here watching this road here coming in from Island Ford, backed up by the Virginia Artillery Reserve. I have the Dummy Brigade and the Cavalry Brigade both sitting reserve on the objective point. with Ruggles overwatching this road junction here, and Johnson overwatching this road here, supported by the Washington artillery. Good news is, during the last, after the last monthly, I went through all the armies. I managed to get rid of all of the mixed smoothbore muskets. Now there are still mixed rifled muskets, and a lot of Springfield smoothbores left in the armies, but we're slowly starting to get rid of all of the lower grade weapons finally. Still a lot of them out there, but we're finally getting rid of them. So we've captured a ton of Springfield rifled muskets from the Federals, and hopefully that keeps up. Same with the Springfield smoothbores. We're actually almost at 50,000 of those things. So, like I said, we were able to get rid of all the mixed smoothbores, at least. Alright. So, now that we're set up, we're just going to wait for the Federals to show up and see how, if Wool performs any better than his previous commanders have. So, sadly, it looks like Wool did not want to fight us. We were actually already towards the end of the day, and they decided to withdraw overnight. So, no battle. No 12th Manassas. Oh well. So, yeah, there's nothing to report on this one, so I'll be back with the next incident. Alright, looks like we do have ourselves an engagement at Cairo. So, it's a good thing I moved the army to Kanawha there, but problem is, I think this is actually their first battle, and they're not very well armed. So we got the 1st Corps Army of Cumberland, which is an experienced force, bringing 29,524 infantry, 952 cavalry, and 14 guns under command of John Davidson. Going against our army of Kanawha under John Floyd, with 14,411 infantry, 2,900 cavalry, and 18 guns. So this battle could go either way. We're actually at 100% readiness, full of ammunition, full provisions, full forage. Army of Kanawha is very well stocked. So, but this really could go in either direction. Now let's see what happens. Welcome, my grunts, to the second battle at Cairo. So we're on the defensive. We're defending back here at the Samples Millard farmsteads. And the Federals are coming in from just this one entry point here, coming down towards the Daniels farmstead. So they do have a couple of approach routes. I'm thinking this is possibly going to be the main approach routes coming in this direction, though they could shift down this way, which would be easier for them. And so I've just decided to set the army up along a railroad line here. Very simple little straight up layout. And I put the cavalry north of the river. They're going to set up on the railroad line here to cover this road, just in case the Federals come down that way, which is a very, very distinct possibility. Just set them up further there. Once we had to play, I'll have them dismount and go loose order. It is 3 a.m., so this should be a one-day battle. And I'm hoping we do very well, because this is, like I said, this is this army's first battle for as long as this campaign's been running. Jackson's brigades fought, but for a lot of these guys, you can see that first battle icon. And we do have a lot of reboard mixed muskets and smoothbore muskets in this force, so it's not the best armed force in the world either. I think the cavalry's probably the best armed organization. And we do not have an artillery division for this force. I never planned on building one, except for like the one separate battery here. You know, we're going to have you guys support the cavalry. Alright, I think that covers everything. Like I said, very straightforward defense. Hopefully we can make this work. Otherwise it'd be the first, not the first loss that we've had, but I don't think it's going to go good either. Alright, we're now moving to 5 a.m. at day 1. We do have a sighting on the Federals. It looks like they are not going across here at this bridge like I thought they would. Now, I'm happy to leave it that way. There's another force coming down the road here, judging by dust trails. They are still strung out along. And I did spot dust trails, there we go, coming down this road here. So he did split his corps up. So they're still waiting to see if they're going to consolidate and attack at one point or attack down this road and this road simultaneously. I have no idea yet. It looks like it's going to be a while yet before we have this one figured out. Alright, looks like the Federals are making something of a push down this road here. Probably because the my battery 10-pounders from the Danville artillery were firing on them. They were coming right at us. They still do have forces pushing down this road, so it looks like it's going to be a three-prong attack. I don't think that's planned. Because they are just marching down the road like no care in the world. I'd actually just issued orders for the Danville artillery to move down towards the river here to fire on this road, but looks like they are needed here now. I don't see any Federal artillery yet, but that's kind of be expected. Now, none of these carbines, these cavalry are armed with that very long range, so I'm hoping the Federals come within range from when I stand them up. They're going to be within range of the carbines, and I'll have to push out to get them. Okay, it looks like it might just be the one division coming down the road here. That's a separate brigade. 1st Division. 1st Division. Okay, it looks like the 1 division's coming down this road. Guns are in this battery. 4 guns. Alright. Regular sized battery. And once they get about here, they should be in range of our carbines once the men stand up. Looks like the force they sent off down this way might converge over here with the rest of their force. So I don't see any dust trails along this southern road front. Laying down, looks like they might be waiting for the rest of their forces to show up before they push in for an attack. The commander's finally getting smart enough not to send their men in alone anymore. Was firing at the cavalry, okay? Looks like they will not be linking up down this road. Looks like they're cutting across down to this southern path over here. Okay, interesting. These boys are cutting out to the woods now. Alright. Looks like Wool's got something brewing that might make this a little more interesting than usual. Gotta try and force these guys into our carbine range. Alright, stand up, boys. And 23rd Virginia. Come over here. Thought they were just about to bayonet my charge of my cavalry there. I'd be a little surprised by that. And these guys are coming out of the woods now, coming down the road. Probably to support that push. Alright, problem is these boys do have cover just like we do. You boys lay back down. Alright, I'm going to mount these boys up and get them after that cavalry regiment. Never mind, there's more infantry coming down the road. 2nd Division. Boys, get across that. Ford at double time. I think they might be trying to chase us. Yeah, they're coming in behind my infantry going after theirs. That's interesting. That's interesting. Alright, boys, advance on that fence line. We're not letting them do that. If you turn around and engage these boys at the ford, we might just be able to pincer them here. Oh, hello. They did something smart. Okay. They flanked out my artillery battery. I think sending the 23rd Regiment over here was probably a bad idea. about to break. I don't think they've done too much damage with that canister. Not much. Yeah, they're pulling back. Okay, 28's in a bad spot. And that cavalry regiment broke. I think before my battery broke. Boys, go take care of that battery. Boys, start hitting that brigade. Looks like they might have recalled their troops that were heading down this road here. Alright, boys, let's take it to them. Why have you not received those orders yet? Yeah, there goes the 28th. That was bound to happen. Or 23rd, I keep saying 28. Alright, 3rd, come across. We'll engage this brigade over here. Anderson, you come up behind them. Again, we're getting ourselves a weird fight. Oh yeah, they don't like that. Nope. 10th Virginia just broke and they're going to retreat through the lines. They're going to upgrade their casualty numbers, but it is what it is. This battle's ours anyway. There they go. We got 9 minutes on the clock. See if we can upgrade these casualties a little bit. And 14th broke right at the end. Phillips Legion Cavalry's probably going to break too. Boys just keep firing at them. And going to Phillips Legion Cavalry, and they're going to retreat through the retreating unit. Yeah, I think we just speed this along. Got a little weird, but went better than I expected, to be honest with you. A lot better than I expected. Alright, we lost 368 of our 14,407 infantry, 665 of our 2,909 cavalry, one of our 18 guns, total loss of 1,050 of our 17,564 men. Took down 1,900 at 28,000 infantry, 150 at 900 cavalry, got all 15 of their guns, total loss of 2,200 at 29,000 men. Alright, let's see if we got any of their officers, so we didn't lose any. There's no viewer units in this force. Wounded Major Vodes of one of their batteries. A lot of separate brigades. Yep, wounded one battery commander, that's it. Alright, you can close out here and I'll see you all at the newspaper screen. A victory at the Second Battle of Cairo. Looks like they blamed it on a poor old colonel, and one of my majors lost face also. Well, it could be one of mine. It looks like somebody might have become famous out of this. Looks like Jackson became famous, but not showing up here because of the two officers that are losing face. So I got to take a look at the army after this. Alright, Second Battle of Cairo has ended at First Corps. Army to Cumberland retreating in panic. Enemy's reported suffered total casualties of 2,174 men. There are 289 killed and 384 captured. Our casualties total 1,050 men, 136 killed, 183 missing, and the rest of wounded. We've captured 899 rifles and 4 guns from the field and sent 365 soldiers off to our prison camps. Let's get that one rolled off. I was really hoping, it was looking like we might make it through July without any major actions happening. I mean, wouldn't exactly call that a major action, but at least over here in the west it's a little quiet, which is allowing our readiness to get up. Lee's readiness is coming up much quicker now that I have him in St. Louis. 40 days to full readiness. The harem is at 54 days to full readiness. And Indian Army's out of supply and low readiness, so I do have them building a depot up here in Dubuque. So as soon as they're ready to go again, I'll have them go hunt down the army of Southwest Missouri. If they're still in existence, it's still showing these towns under their control, so they are in the area of Des Moines and Bloomfield. How's the siege train looking? 25 days to full readiness, so I'm not going to move them until they're 100%, because they're going to need it to get down to Kearney. Alright, I think we will end this video here. Got a few things done. We got a lot more done out west than I initially thought we would, especially taking Davenport and Dubuque. And possibly might be grabbing up Milwaukee in the next episode. And that'll leave one Union City cut off from the rest of the Union. So things are going very much in our favor. Very early in the war, too. We'll probably push this to conclusion by 63. I don't know. Probably should have slowed down my advance a little bit. And they still have not moved against Charleston. I thought as soon as I moved the Army of Kanawha away, the 2nd Corps would have moved in. It doesn't look like they've moved yet. Intelligence is about a week old, 2 weeks old, but that's not a big deal. But I figured they would have started moving on that already. Or they may just not have the readiness to do so, because they've just been sitting there taking attrition since the start of the war. And this fort's finally almost done in 14 more days. Start getting these telegraph lines built up again. Like you see, the way a major trunk line moves right now, it's got to come all the way down here towards Mobile, through New Orleans, and back up again. So I'm going to start building a telegraph line here and at Murfreesboro in order to slam that shut so it doesn't have to go all the way around like that. Alright. Like I said, I think we're going to end this episode here. So once again, if you're a newbie or return viewer, you're not yet subscribed, please think about hitting that subscribe button. If you do, remember that bell icon so the next video comes out. Following along in the series and enjoying it, don't forget to bayonet that like button, butt stroke that comment section. And I will see you all at the next episode. Stay grumpy.